I know what you're thinking. Why are there two homeless men on my computer screen right now? Well, let me tell you something. It's actually me, Eddie, and my colleague Ethan. We are 10 days into No Shave November, and we are pretty much unrecognizable at this point. Speaking of a style change, Adidas is dropping reverse retro jerseys for all NHL teams. Ethan, I want you to pull up the video that they released to show off like the new designs and everything.
So here we go. It was posted by Adidas Hockey, and here's the video. Oh, actually, let me just replay that with volume on.
I like how they use porn music to show it off. You could tell pretty much whose is whose. I like the black and the white one that they just showed. That was the Sabres that they just passed. Is it for every NHL team?
Yeah,
Or just
that
a
was.
select few. Yeah.
So I'll keep playing the thing just with no volume, obviously. I'll just kind of keep it on loop. So like initial thoughts, like what do you think of the jerseys? Like just off this like view right here.
Um, I'm like, what do they mean by reverse retro? Like,
But what that means, I'm pretty sure every new team gets another jersey, basically, is what that means. So they're like kind of throwbacky in a way. So,
yeah, I saw a picture of the Bruins. I don't know if it was leaked or if it was just them showing us because they're like,
mhm.
you know what, fuck you, I don't really care. But the Bruins, I saw the Bruins actually I kind of liked because it has like the logo itself is kind of like the old school logo for the Bruins.
Mhm.
Um, the color itself is a bit different for Boston, I'd say, but
Then again, most of these are kind of different.
yeah, and to be fair, when Adidas first came in and took control of the jerseys, they completely fucking ruined a few. Like the
Nashville.
Predators, yeah,
Oh
the
yeah.
Nashville Predators was an absolute dumpster fire of a jersey. Now I hope they don't mess it up because I can pretty much
I can
tell
pause this.
which team is which
Mm-hmm.
just based on like every color.
It's kind of. I'm pretty sure like the
Like
ones
that's
that
the
were on.
Rangers.
That's the range. The one that were on first were the Hurricanes. I'm pretty sure.
Yep, that's
Dallas.
Dallas. I'd say, yeah,
Dallas. Is that the same jersey or?
definitely the same jersey.
Some of them are hard to tell. Maybe like that could be Dallas, Minnesota.
Yeah. They're interchangeable. That was
Oop, I
Colorado. That's
Colorado. I missed
Philly.
that. Philly. Oop, I
That
missed. That looked
to be,
like gray and blue. Maybe the Jets.
yeah, this one
This
I
is
think
probably
is
Edmonton.
that or the Islanders. They have
That makes sense.
relatively similar colors. They so
That might have been Minnesota.
I
That one
remember
right there.
this is LA. That
No,
one's
that's
easy.
LA, but the one just before
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I someone said the number corresponds with the year they're trying to mimic. So the Rangers would be 77. This is Pittsburgh, so that's 1990.
1990.
Um
92. That's Calgary, probably, if I were to guess. Uh,
that I think is the Sharks.
it's not the Sharks. We'll get to that one. I don't know who this is. I'm pretty sure the Sharks are 98, if I'm not mistaken. They could be 95. This could be the Sharks one. I don't think it is, though. So next one. That might have been Philly, too. That orange
Okay, so
95.
pretty much it's kind of up in the air as to what the fuck these
But
are.
basically, yeah, we're just kind of speculating.
They were kind of just like, okay, here's a little cool concept we're gonna drop on you when the season happens.
Ottawa,
This looks like
maybe?
the fucking San Francisco 49ers. So
Yeah, I was about to say
I'm out of ideas. That's Columbus. That's not even hard.
Columbus. Did they just
Uh,
what?
yeah. Again, like I don't know. Like most of these are kind of hard to tell. Again, like
Nashville?
see.
But Nashville wasn't in the league in 97.
So okay, yeah. Let's just stop guessing and we're just gonna say New Jersey's coming soon for the NHL.
That's a
Pretty
pretty
hard
cool
to
one.
tell. Yeah,
That
those are
could be
dope.
Carolina. That could be like there's been like four that could be Carolina. That looks like a
Yeah,
freaking
that looks like the
Star
Tampa Bay
jersey.
Buccaneers. A lot of these look like football ones. Um,
I was gonna say that looks like the Rams one, right? Like the
yeah, a little bit.
colors. This is the Sharks one, I think. Which I don't hate. It's cool.
Okay, so
It's
it's
hard
not
to
very
tell.
clear as to
Yeah.
who's who. Okay, that has to be the Stars, and that's the Sabres, and that's the Jets.
Oh 04. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're just gonna go ahead and say we got that 100% correct. That whole thing. just for
So all those are
credibility
correct.
reasons.
Definitely take our word for it. All of those are right. So,
Yep.
okay. So
Like, they made jerseys for the fucking Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
49ers too.
Yeah.
All right. So segueing out of that, a couple recent signings that kind of took place. So Ryan Strome avoids arbitration, signs a 2-year, $4.5 million contract. What do you think? You're the Ranger fan.
I fuck with it. I mean, the one reason I like it so much is because it's 2 years and he takes him to UFA after. In those 2 years, if he, you know what they could do potentially, they might
Move
since
him.
LaFrent, yeah, like he's either gonna be moved by it depends how he plays because if he's not playing with Panarin again for the next 2 years,
He
like
could fall off. He could drop
that's
off
what I'm saying.
production.
Yeah, like is he still gonna produce without Panarin on his line? That's the question
Exactly.
they want
And
to
we got to
answer.
think, is he still worth 4.5 when he's not on Panera's line? Say he slides down
Exactly.
to a
Yeah.
third line. Is he still going to produce at what do you have?
Yeah. So if
50, 60 something
with
points?
Panarin,
40?
he had 59 or something off the top of my
Like
head.
that's decent. Like he definitely made like his contracts. I like the contract. If he can keep the production up, that's the thing.
Right.
Can he keep it
you
up?
know what? They might move him and he might not be playing with Panarin. So if again in this 2-year span, they could look to move him at the deadline of his last year because he's not producing without Panarin.
Who would they move with Panarin though? Like Howden, Heedle, one of those guys?
Like who would they play with Panarin?
Yeah, like centerman.
They could just say, you know what, we're gonna make the first line fucking OP, put Panarin and Zibanejad
You
on
could
it.
do that, but it's the same thing with like
I
with David
don't recommend
Draisaitl,
that though. Yeah,
Malkin, Crosby.
exactly.
Like you got to play
Like
them on different lines.
there's no reason to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They could do Strome. They might want to put him with, I don't know, Buchnevich maybe.
Or where's Kreider in there too? Whose line does he play on?
Kreider would be in
Zibanejad?
there. It's usually Kreider, Zibanejad, Buchnevich, but again, those
Subject to
lines all,
change,
like,
especially when you're bringing in a bona fide top six forward.
exactly.
So, yeah,
And
I'd say. What were we gonna say?
Colin Blackwell, who's gonna slide into that top six real well.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
All right, moving on from the Rangers. Let's go to Gavrikov. So Gavrikov signs a 3-year, 2.8 AAV contract with the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'd say solid signing. It's not overpaid. Maybe more overpaid than underpaid, but he's decent. Columbus has not actually too much money because they still have to sign Dubois.
yeah, actually, I didn't even think about that.
That just went in my head now.
Yeah,
How
they
much
got
cap space
signed
do they have?
Dubois. I'm looking. They got okay, we're gonna ignore that voice crack.
Ooh.
Actually, no, they definitely have enough to sign Dubois. They got 9.2.
Oh yeah, they should be fine. Okay, so yeah, decent contract for Gavrikov. He hasn't reached his full potential yet. Maybe he could be a number 4 defender. He's probably like a 5-6 right now at this point in his career. But Columbus did ship out some blue liners. They moved Murray, so that's a top 4 spot open. So maybe Gavrikov comes in and takes that top 4 spot. So decent contract for Gavrikov.
Especially for someone who's drafted in the 6th round of 2015.
He's a 6th-round pick.
Yep,
I didn't know that.
He's 24 years old, so he obviously could still develop.
Mm-hmm. No, good on him though.
Yeah, he shoots left. What does he play, left or right D? Hold on.
Probably left if he shoots lefty.
Yeah. So with Gavrikov in 69 games, he had 18 points, a +1. 92
What was his
block
time on
shots.
ice? What was his time on ice?
He averaged 19 minutes, about 18 minutes.
Okay. So yeah, he's around a 4th, 5th defender. So yeah, it's decent money. Yep, good on Gavrikov. Hopefully he can.
And 2.8 for 3 years. No, I
No, it's
with
not
that
bad.
contract.
Yeah,
That's
hopefully
a great
continue the
actually.
upward trend.
Yep.
Let's move on to another defenseman, Mackenzie Weegar. So he was out there in trade rumors a couple months ago. He was rumored to go to the Leafs. Where else? I think Montreal might have been in on him at one point. Even the Jets. A lot of guys were in on Weegar, but he ends up re-signing in Florida. 3 years, 3.25. What do you think of the deal?
He had a decent year. I mean, with Florida, he his takeaway to giveaway ratio is actually not bad. He actually averaged 20 minutes time on ice this year.
Yeah, he's good.
45 games. It's actually 45 games, 18 points with an average time on ice of 20 minutes, 7 seconds. That's actually not bad.
No, it's not. I like Weegar. He's a good shutdown defensive defenseman.
Yeah, it shows he's reliable too.
Hmm.
So that's definitely a top 4.
Especially
Um,
with Strawman and Yandel getting up there in age. It's a decent contract for just a decent defenseman.
yeah, and to be honest, Strawman hasn't really been anything special in years, in my
Exactly, yeah.
opinion. Yeah, I'm a fucking huge Yandle
Oh,
guy.
so I love Keith Yandel.
Yeah, no,
Song.
like even ever since he was a Ranger and then he left and everything, like he's always been
Mhm.
good. He's 34 though, so you got to
That's
think
what I'm
like
saying. He's up there.
his production could fall, and if his production does fall, then it's probably gonna be Uyghur's gonna be sliding up, and
Yeah.
eventually he could be the top 2 with fucking Aaron Ekblad.
Aaron Ekblad. What happened to him? Not like he, number 1 overall draft pick. He had a great rookie season, and like it's kind of just been like kind of like flatlining like since. Like he
Yeah,
hasn't really
no,
trended downward, hasn't really trended upward. He's just like Ekblad's like a solid number 3 defender. Like that's kind of what I see Ekblad as. Maybe number 2. Like he really just never like he's not gonna get the Rasmus Dahlin. He's not gonna get like that high up or anything. Like he kind of is what he is at
yeah,
this
that's why
point, I think.
when we were given our rankings of the defenseman list, I
Hmm.
said like I'm when I was thinking about Darlene being taken by the Sabres first overall, I was so skeptical about it. I
Hmm.
was like, is that really like is he gonna pan out? And he's definitely panning out. It's just because
Oh
like with
yeah,
last time a defenseman was taken first overall, Ekblad, it was like
didn't work
ugh,
really. Didn't work
it's
out.
just it's mediocre in my
And the
opinion. No
time
offense
before
to him.
that, if I'm not mistaken, was Eric Johnson, who once again was
Again,
mediocre.
doesn't
Just
pan out.
exact.
Not from a first overall pick
Yeah, exactly.
point of view.
Still had a great career. It's still having a pretty good career, but just really never lived up to what he was supposed to be. And kind of the same thing with Ekblad. But maybe, hey, if Yandel maybe steps down, take a step back a little bit, maybe Ekblad slides into that number 1 power play unit. Maybe he starts producing like what
Maybe
everyone thought he would.
Ekblad's only 24 and he's got 5 years left on his deal too. So and
So he's gonna be around there for a while.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. And again, back to Uyghur though, I think with Stroman and Yandel getting up there in age, um, he's only 26. So 3 years for 3.25, I think it's actually worth it just
I
based
agree.
on his situation around him.
I do agree. I do agree.
And
All right.
and he was taken in the 7th round of the
Wow.
2013 NHL entry draft. So these guys are they're cooking.
They are. Good on them. Good on these late round draft picks. Moving on to the Western Conference champs, Dallas Stars. They re-signed center Roop Hintz to a 3-year, $3.1 million contract as an AAV. What do you think? What are your first thoughts on it?
So again, super smart move by the Stars here to keep him up until I'm sorry, RFA.
Mm-hmm.
He it was at 3.1 yeah, 3.15.
3.15.
Okay, so in 60 games he put up 33 points. Um at age 23, that's actually that's actually not bad at all. I
No,
actually
he's good.
I think that contract's going to be kind of a steal
Hintz is pretty underrated.
in the next few years. Yeah, in the next few years he's going to probably show he's worth a lot more money, so that could be, you know,
He could slot in as the second line center next season for Dallas.
yeah, I
It
mean,
all depends where Pavelski plays. If they play him in center, if they play him on wing. Because
yeah, well,
Sagan's your number 1. No
oh
question
yeah,
about that.
always.
Pavelski probably would be the number 2 unless they play him on wing or they maybe move him to third. Takes a
Yeah.
step back. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, yeah. Well, let's be realistic. Joe Pavelski will do either one because Joe Pavelski is a team player,
I agree. I completely
fucking
agree.
animal.
That guy is. I
He,
love that guy. He's
Captain
insane.
America. I really wanted the Stars to win the cup because I had
So
a
did
deal.
I.
Like, if they win the cup, I'm getting a Pavelski Team USA jersey, and I still might. I'm still on the fence about it.
I love Joe Pavelski. He's just an
He's
unreal hockey player.
Yeah, I don't care that he didn't win the Stanley Cup. This is still a Joe Pavelski friendly hockey podcast.
Pavelski, if you're watching, man, invites open if you want to come on for an interview.
We'll talk all about Joe Pavelski
It's
and his
here.
accomplishments. In all seriousness, though, Rupe Hintz is it Rupe or Rupe? I've heard Rupe.
I've heard both. I went with Roop. I don't know. Roop.
All right, the Rupinator. 3.15 for 3 years brings him to RFA. His production can pretty much only go up at this point. So good contract.
Yep, I agree. Good job, Dallas. Moving on from that, back to the New York Rangers. Brendan Lemieux inks a 2-year, 1.55 AAV deal. Again, Ranger fan. What's your thoughts on this?
It's doesn't really affect me, to be honest. Like Lemieux, he's kind of he. We brought him in, and he actually started playing really well when we first traded for him. But then his production fell, which is fine because I didn't really want production from him. I want him to do with what Chris Kreider was supposed to be doing. I wanted him to do what Dylan McElrath was doing with fucking. He was supposed to be there to, he's supposed to be playing the body. He's supposed to be there. If you hit one of our guys, well, guess what? You have to answer Lemieux now. He was kind of just in and out with all that stuff, really, if that makes sense. Like he's kind of like he's not overly doing his role. Like he's not giving 100% in either category. He's not really giving us his best production, and he's not really giving us his best physical play either.
So you're saying there's room for him to improve, is what you're basically telling me?
100%. But again, 2 years at 1.55, age 24.
Solid contract.
It takes him to RFA. No, I think it's a great contract because if he starts playing like we anticipate him to, then yeah, it'll be a good contract. Because
who he kind of reminds me of, who's like kind of a comparable player, which I'm glad they didn't pay him like Brandon Tanev.
Yeah,
he's in a way like a Brandon Tanev, just not an overpaid. he's the underpaid version. Tanev's the overpaid version.
I don't really think you should be paying that much money for someone in a
bottom six role. Like there will not get
exactly.
higher than that.
Like we're not the New York Islanders. The Rangers actually know how to run a hockey team here.
They just don't throw out $3 million contract. Leo Komarov, Cal Clutterbuck, Casey Zeke. Sure, have $3 million, whatever, man. We don't need Matt Barzal. We have Casey Zizekas.
Yeah, but no, the Rangers know it's good. I think that Lemieux contract's, I think it's fine. Again, it's just kind of lackluster in my opinion. Like the way and what I mean is, it's not that big like of a
just
deal.
Average.
Like,
it's as expected, basically.
Because if he doesn't start playing physical or producing or whatever, then fine, whatever. We'll just let him walk it at the end of it. If he does, then cool. He's an RFA. Now we get to extend him with little to no penalty.
Yeah, basically. So, yep, good on the Rangers. I think it's a good contract. It's cheap, especially now. You need cheap deals in the bottom six. So, good on them. And last person who actually came out yesterday when you guys are watching this, Scott Darling's back in the NHL, baby. He's back, and he signs with the Florida Panthers. I'm gonna be honest.
Wait.
Okay, you go first.
Let me. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but let me clarify. He's not signed technically. He's on a professional tryout, which
plenty of times in the past. PTO?
Nope.
I didn't. My bad. I meant to say signed to a PTO.
You failed.
Sorry.
You failed.
My fault. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't hate it. You can never have too many goalies. Darling. He at one point in his career he proved that he can be an NHL caliber goalie. Recently, he's done the opposite, but it's a PTO. It's not going to hurt him. So I don't hate it by Florida. I think it's solid. They don't really have a set in stone backup. Druger came in, played a couple games for them last season. He played pretty good, but he's still young. He could falter. So I think it's good to bring in a veteran that could challenge him for the spot maybe, and even challenge Bobrovsky even. So I think good on Florida. I think he could end up signing the 1 year $700K deal in Florida if he plays good.
Okay, so my Scott Darling, so Ethan said he proved he could be an NHL caliber goalie, which if you want to say he's an NHL backup caliber, you can.
I said NHL caliber. Never said starter. Never said backup. I said he's an NHL caliber.
When he was the starting goalie for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, I don't want to hear those numbers.
Absolute mess. I remember when the Rangers played the Hurricanes 2 years ago, I think it was.
Didn't he drop the puck?
Both times in the season series. First time, Zibanejad just cleared it from center ice, and Scott Darling's like, "Oh, I got it."
Oh, I remember that.
It's in the
coming
net.
Back now.
And then after that, I want to say, I have absolutely no idea who did this, but Darling had the puck and all I had to do was just cover it, but he was like, "Oh, what, you guys want me to pass it out or whatever?" And I'm really blanking on who did it, but he just stole the puck and just scored easily.
Jesper Foss is coming to mind. I don't know if that's true.
No, he's not on the team. He wasn't on the team after this season.
Was it Lindblom? No, not Limbaum. Lindbergh.
No, no, it was.
Not him.
I'm not. It's not
It's,
important.
it's
All I
not.
know
It's not important.
is
It's not important.
he makes these silly mistakes. But let me tell you his stats. Over in
That's
Austria,
what I was gonna ask you.
he has 33 games played. In these games played, he has a 3.34 goals against average and a .898 save percentage. So
I'm gonna be honest. I thought his stats were better than that.
yeah, my problem with that is a lot of people don't realize like a place like the KHL, these numbers are again, that's not those aren't good numbers. The KHL is pretty much the Russian version of the AHL. This is not
Basically,
the KHL. This is Austria and it's not a very, elite hockey
like
market.
Jesus. Like I can only name one player that came out of Austria, Michael Grabner. Like
Exactly.
what competition is he going up against there? Like it can't be good, right? Like I don't know. I thought he honestly, I thought he played better than that overseas. I guess not.
No.
I didn't really fact check
And
that either. So
wait, yeah, let me tell you his stats from the AHL before this year when he went to Austria. With the Charlotte Checkers in the AHL in 14 games, he had a 3.4 goals against average and a .882 save
jeez,
percentage.
and that's in the AHL too.
So yeah, I
Fuck.
don't I don't see Scott
What
Darling. I
what
don't
were his
see it working
numbers when
out.
he was good? Let me hear his best season.
His
And
best
what
season,
year? It was with the Hawks, right?
um, yes, but this is in 32 games played. Okay. In 32 games played with Chicago in 2016, 2017, he had 2.38 goals against average and his save percentage was .924.
Like that's a good season. That's a great season. Looking at that now, he'd be a great 1B. But those numbers are seemingly
Again,
long gone.
those are several years ago. Now we're
Exactly.
thinking he's did horrible in the AHL. He did horrible over in Austria. So what does he have to bring to the NHL? I don't think much.
A second chance, maybe. Maybe he's had time to reflect on all this time off. Maybe he trained, worked hard at it. I don't know,
Hmm.
but hopefully he can rebound.
He's
He
only
showed.
31.
Yeah, he's not that old. We've seen guys come in later. Like look at Tim Thomas. He came in, started really doing good in his like mid 30s. I'm pretty sure. So not saying he's gonna be Tim Thomas, but maybe he can turn it around. We'll see. So moving on from that, all those signings sort of kind of like I wouldn't really call it a rumor. Would you call it a rumor? I don't really know.
Is this
Sort
the
of
Maple Leafs thing?
yeah, this thing.
No.
Not maybe what's the right word for it? Like
Speculation.
that's what I was gonna say, speculation. So sort of some speculation going on in the hockey world right now around the Leafs. So I think it was either a former assistant coach or I'm pretty sure former assistant coach of the Marlies or the Leafs. It was one of the two that like kind of threw around like and like you know how and just so for our audience out there, generic NHL lineup, 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, 1 goalie. So the thing that's kind of been being thrown around is a 2 forward, 3 defenseman lineup. Just based off that, not looking at the Leafs or anything, how do you think that would work in the NHL?
I don't. Because think about it. If if there's three defensemen and there's only two forwards, then
Mm-hmm.
the scoring is probably going to go down. If that's assuming all the
In a
defensemen are stay-home
way,
defensemen, because eventually you're just going to realize, okay, we're going to
but
need someone
that
to come up.
but in that case, you can't play 3 stay-at-home defensemen. So let's look
So
like
you need someone to come up and help
basically
the
you
offense, almost
so
like a forward.
so basically yeah, which kind of is the exact position of a center. Like it's I don't know. So
It,
I guess it helps keep the puck out of the net and maybe we'll throw some teams off with covering guys because maybe some guys are like used to covering guys in certain spots and now they're in different spots. I really don't know. But like, okay, now we're throwing out the Leafs in here because it's mainly speculative around them. Can the Leafs pull this off and win games with the team they have right now?
I don't know why they have to. I don't know why the fuck they have to be different, bro. Like just go three
So
forwards, 2D.
so if we're
Like
looking at it like this, so their starting lineup, if they were to do this, so either Matthews and Nylander or Tavares and Marner up top. We're not really focusing on that though. And on the blue line. So figure you play like 2 guys like in the back and then one a bit above them. Like maybe you throw like Morgan Riley in that middle spot and like a Brody and
Bogosian.
I was gonna say Bogosian, but maybe a Dermott's more realistic, or even like a Liljegren. I'm just throwing out names, but like the Leafs don't even have enough defenders to play 6. I feel like they barely have enough. Like they're gonna have to play like I just don't see how this is gonna work. You're gonna have to completely alter who you dress because you're gonna have to dress more defensemen than forwards, right?
Yeah.
So figure you. I honestly I don't see it working, especially for the Leafs.
Neither do I. It's not necessary change. I'm pretty sure the style of play now is perfectly fine.
I'm gonna throw out a big but though, because I think one team would be able to pull this off. Carolina Hurricanes.
What makes you say that?
Just the quality of skill they have on that blue line. If any team were to do it, I'm not saying they should do it, but if any team were to do it, they'd be able to pull it off.
Well, let's look at their top 4. Their top 4 is Dougie Hamilton, Jacob Slavin. Okay, I'm gonna put Brett Pesce over Brady Shea and Jake
Smart.
Gardner. And then Hayden Fleury maybe if he starts. But then again,
you can name 7 to 8 quality NHL defensemen on that team, is what I'm saying. So in theory, they'd be able to pull it off. Not saying it would work, but they'd be able to do it.
You have to realize they also have Joachim fucking Ryan. Okay,
I forgot he went there.
I didn't even know that until I just saw that now.
No, I didn't. I did know that. I did know that. He signed this offseason. He played with LA for a little bit, then he went over to Carolina.
You're kind of right. If there is any team that's going to do it, it's Carolina.
It'd be Carolina. Like their forward core is good, but it's not as good as their blue line, in my opinion. So maybe I don't think they'd try it, but they'd be able to make it work. I think out of any NHL team, they're most likely to be able to make it work.
I think the only way to talk about this properly, I think Rod Brandamore has to come on the podcast at this point and just tell us what he thinks
Rod
about
Brandamore and Don Waddell on the podcast. We'll have a discussion with those two, coach and GM, see what they have to say about it. Or we'll get Sheldon Keefe and what the fuck is his name? Kyle Dubas on the podcast.
Kyle Dubas. I'd love to have Kyle Dubas on here.
Because in reality, like if you think about it with the Leafs, I watched a video from TSN where they all talk about it. They said that the Leafs would be most likely to try it because of like the willingness of Keefe and Dubas. But like say another team like Pittsburgh, like Jim Rutherford, that was actually a bad example. Winnipeg Jets, like Kevin Cheveldayoff wouldn't want to do that. Mark Bergevin wouldn't want to do that. Even like Jeff Gordon or Doug Wilson, they probably wouldn't want to do that.
Jeff Gordon's too elite to do that.
But not gonna answer that question. But
wasn't a question.
Yes, it was. In question, I'd say no. This would not work. I'm pretty sure that's the obvious answer.
Yeah, no, I was saying that as soon as you brought it up. I was like, even like I don't know if I said this to you before we started recording. Like this is like it doesn't make sense. Like,
no, it doesn't. It's a cool idea, I guess. Personally, if it was my hockey team, I wouldn't try it.
If they do it and they end up like winning a fucking cup doing it, then they got to make a movie or some shit about that.
But maybe
the game.
Maybe you look at the Detroit Red Wings or the Ottawa Senators or a team like that. Say they have a really bad start to the season. Like they start off like I don't know, like 4-17 or some shit like that. I'm throwing out numbers. But in that case, like you already suck. Why not try something different and see if you can suck less, right? Like I don't know. I feel like if you're a terrible team, you have options to try.
Sucking less, it does intrigue.
Or maybe if you're really good, maybe you start off the year 20-0. Maybe you can afford to try it then. So maybe say Tampa starts off the year like 18-4. Maybe they throw this in there. Tampa could probably pull it off. Like Tampa, they got some pretty. They could do anything basically. They got McDonough, Hedman, Sergachev. Like they got some guys there. Yeah. I don't know. It's all speculative talk, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. I figured we'd talk about it a little bit. So I guess. So what's your final conclusion on it? No, wouldn't work.
Absolutely not. No.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and agree.
I welcome they prove me wrong.
I welcome it.
If it'll cause more entertaining hockey, then yeah, go for it.
I'm all for it. Yeah. It's kind of like the trap, you know, like the Senators did. They played the what was it? It was fuck, what was the format? I forgot, but they did some like weird ass trap style. Because remember that clip where it was another team against the Senators where they just sat behind the net because they didn't forecheck and they just had to blow the whistle. Maybe we see something like that. Like maybe that shies teams away from it. Maybe. I don't really know though. But that was so long ago. I don't know. Let's move on from this because we're kind of just beating a dead horse. So now, like we covered last podcast, NHL Network released their top 20 wingers list. So I'm going to pull that up now because I forgot to before. All right. So, whoops, wrong thing.
Idiot, I swear to God.
So I'm going to share my screen now and bang. So here is the top 20 wingers list from NHL Network.
So can I ask a question real quick?
Sure, go for it.
Just because I know which one is better, and last time it gave us such a fucking kick. Can we look at the fan list first?
Fan list first, sure. All right. So what do you want to start with? 10 through 20 or 11 through 20 or 1 through 10?
Well,
we're kind of looking at it now already, so I guess we'll just start with 1 through 20, 1 through 10.
yeah.
I don't hate the top 5.
No, the top 5 is fine. You could obviously interchange a lot of those names.
Mm-hmm.
Sveshnikov's pretty damn high.
I agree, as well as Konechny.
Konechny's also very high. Rantanen, you could probably make the argument he belongs there. He actually, is he number 9 on mine? I don't know, but go over to the next one.
Why is Brad Marchand at number 12?
How are you gonna have Marchand at outside the top 10?
How are we gonna have Svechnikov at number 6? I know we pulled off the Svechnikov. That was very cool and everything, but that does not mean he's a top 20 or top 6 winger.
Stop. He did it twice. Okay.
We're still Forsberg then.
Yeah, for real.
We're still Forsberg.
Dude. I don't even want to. Okay, my voice is getting like hoarse. I'm getting scared. But how are you going to tell me that Svechnikov is better than Claude Giroux, Brad Marchand? I'll honestly argue Taylor Hall is better than Svechnikov. Taylor Hall is deathly low in my opinion. I don't know about deathly, but he's definitely a little too low.
Agreed.
Okay, let's ignore the fan.
So is Huberdeau. Huberdeau is very low.
Yeah,
what's up with that?
Too. Let's go look at top.
The fan list is just
20.
terrible. It's like they just threw whatever.
I needed a good laugh.
Okay. Was Tkachuk not even on the fan list? Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna move on here. So, top 20 wingers in the NHL, starting from number 20 to 11. Let's just start. Like, what do you disagree with here?
Pacioretty's a little high.
Agreed.
I honestly don't even think he's in the top 20 in my opinion.
Pacioretty's not on my list. He had a good year with Vegas.
JT Miller is in the same boat. He's super good.
No, he had such a good year. He really did. I think he's like 23, 24. Area.
He's an honorable mention.
He's good. Opinion. No, he is. He's really good. What am I looking at here? Line A. He's a little high, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He could be a little lower. I don't have Tarasenko on my list. He only played 10 games last season.
He's on mine, but he could fall off if he's in the same boat this year.
I think Drew's a little low as well. And I also think Wheeler is a little high.
I don't know. At 11,
I have him lower.
Potentially. Wait, let me pull up my list. That'll be the smart thing to do. I got Wheeler at the same exact number actually.
Oh.
But
interesting. Okay.
I have Wheeler a
little lower.
But let's look at the top 10. So top 10 they have Mark Stone in this order: Jonathan Huberdeau, Mikko Rantanen, Mitch Marner, Brad Marchand, Patrick Kane, Alexander Ovechkin, Nikita Kucherov, David Pastrnak, and Artemi Panarin. I
just gotta say something. No matter how much I hate the Vegas Golden Knights, Mark Stone is too low. He's too low.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
he is. Mark Stone, that guy's an animal. He really is. He's so good defensively and he's so good offensively.
Yeah, I was gonna say the reason his value is so high is because wingers are not usually defensive players, but he just is. Like he's probably the best defensive winger.
He's hands down the best defensive winger.
I just want to look at this I think Pasternak's a bit too
I
high.
was just gonna get to that. Pasternak's not the second best winger in the league.
Um, I'm still a huge Patrick Kane guy. I have him
I'd say there's
higher.
one person on his line that's better than him.
Who, Pasternak?
Yep.
Patrice Bergeron's not better than David Pasternak.
I'm talking about the other one.
Oh, you meant Marchand.
Yeah,
Oh.
the winger. Yeah, Brad Marchand's better than David Pastrnak.
Again, I told you before we started recording. I get why you'd make that argument.
I just think Marchand's
Sometimes
better.
goal scoring isn't.
Like,
goal scoring isn't what defines a player.
Exactly. Pastrnak had a great year. He's a fantastic player, but we have to look at it. Would he be where he is if he wasn't on a line with Bergeron and Marchand?
Exactly.
I don't think so.
I like how if you look on the comments here, I don't even. This guy says these are both terrible. Got 51 likes. Someone says, when is JT Miller better than Giroux? Which I agree with that. He's not.
Yeah.
And
OV
that one
over
right
Panarin.
there. I wish I had my hat because I would just give him it since he loves capping so much because that's bullshit.
Oh, it could be. He could be talking about career-wise. If career-wise, obviously, yeah, that's right.
Not even
but
a question.
Not
Goal scorer of all time.
Exactly.
Alex Ovechkin.
Exactly. But right now, Ov, he's still fantastic. He's a great goal scorer, bona fide 40 goal scorer a year, but he's not better than Panarin.
The goal scoring is not what defines a player.
It's not.
Alex Ovechkin, easily one of the best shots in the league. Easily my favorite player that's not a New York Ranger.
If you think about it like this, Ovi was nowhere close to being a Hart finalist, like anywhere close. Exactly. Neither was Pastrnak.
He could be in the Richard race, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, he could be in the Richard race, yeah. But that does not mean you're the best winger in the league.
Exactly. We're talking about overall play. Panarin, he's got the hands, he's got the shot, he's got the playmaking, he's got everything you want.
He's got it right now. Panarin, I'd say it's unquestionable. He's the number one.
And guess what team he's on?
Number two. The Rangers.
New York Rangers, baby.
All right, so is there anything else you want to add to this list?
The only comment I'll make is NHL Network's list isn't horrible. It could be better. It isn't horrible. I just don't know where the fans get off saying that it's so bad and then they drop fucking that on us.
We see that they don't like the questionable players because Marchand's at 12 and Kachuk's not even on the list.
Then again, literally everybody fucking hates Marchand too.
Exactly.
Like nobody likes Brad Marchand. I love Marchand.
I like Marchand
because he does his job super well.
He does. I don't like his. You hate when he plays against your team, but you still have to respect him. He does done some questionable things that I disagree with, but he's still a fantastic hockey player. He really is. So with that, how about we move into our lists now? So do you want to start off? Because I started off last time.
I got an idea. We'll go.
You want to go pick by pick?
Yep.
All right. So now we're going to jump into our list. So we're going to go pick by pick. So I'm going to do a pick, then he's going to go, he's going to go, he's going to go. Or I'm going to go, he's going to go, I'm going to go, he's going to go. So we're going to start at 20 and work our way up to number 1. So at number 20 for me, I have Andrei Svechnikov. Do you want me to back up my pick or do you want to go now?
No, 100% back up your pick.
So Svechnikov's great. He really broke out this year as a top line winger on that top line with Aho. But the thing is, he's only had 1 year. As on the fan list, he's ranked number 6. That is absurd in my opinion. He's ranked above Huberdeau, Mark Stone, Mitch Marner, all of them. That's dumb. Svechnikov, he had a great year, had a great goal scoring year. But once again, just because you hit the Svechnikov 2 times or the lacrosse goal 2 times does not mean he is a top 6 winger. He's still great. He still has a ton of room to grow, but I have him at number 20.
Dude, I tell you, before I tell you my pick, fucking the NHL, any hockey-based social media platform or account, rather, made me fucking hate that move. Every time they beat the shit out of that fucking video.
They overplayed it. They overplayed the shit out of it.
They never stopped.
No,
it's horrible.
They killed
it. Any Hoosier. Number 20, I have Vladimir Tarasenko. To be honest, if this was a few years ago, he'd be significantly higher. He only played 10 games this year. It's super difficult to tell what was going to happen. He was point per game in the 10 games he played, but I don't know.
He only had 3 goals.
Again, yeah, it's hard to say with Tarasenko because in 10 games. Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Exactly. It's such a small sample size.
He could, depending on how the following season or the season coming up goes, he could either be off the list and put into honorable mention, or he could be in the top 15 just based on how he does,
Yeah,
because
either
he
would
had
surprise me.
76 games played the season before this one with 68 points. That 100% would
How
guarantee
many
him
goals?
and that's 33 goals.
Okay, so those are respectable numbers.
Yeah, no, so uh, give him time based on how if he when he comes back how he produces or not. He could move up, could move down. I'm not sure yet.
I agree. So at number 19, I have Jake Gensel. Once again, wasn't as small of a sample size. It was a bit of a bigger. I think he played around 40 to 30 games around there. And he was above point per game, so he had a great year, but he kind of gets flack because he was Crosby's line mate. I think he's still a fantastic player. Besides that, I think did the fan list have him overrated, or was it the regular list? I think it was the fan list that had him at like
Gensel?
14. Yeah.
Yeah, it was too high on
Okay,
the fan
so
list. Just
so
goes
he
to show most hockey fans don't really they're not the best with this kind of stuff.
exactly. So I feel like NHL Network got it pretty good. I'm pretty sure they ranked him at 20. I've been 19, so I agree with that. And he's got room to grow, especially because he got hurt last season. He's going to come out. He's going to come out next season and prove himself, prove that he was, wasn't a fluke year. And I think he'll do that. So yeah, I think he's worthy of 19.
I have 19. I have Patrick Laine. Laine was actually nearly point per game this year, believe it or not. He years before this, he was always putting up goals more than assists, and his point total wasn't that high. But this year, he actually had more assists than goals. Bravo, Patrick, with 63 points in 68 games. I don't really know what the deal with Patrick Laine is. I don't know why Winnipeg wants to trade him so badly. He's a goal scorer. Those are hard to come by.
Mm-hmm. He's a perennial 40 goal scorer.
Exactly, yeah.
And I don't know why they want to move that. Like, he hit 40 something in his second year, and he scored 30 goals in his sleep the year after that. So
exactly, this year he had 28 goals in 68 games.
But he proved that he could pass the puck this year, and that was a big thing for him. Like, everyone thought Laine is a pure goal scorer. He can't do anything else. But Laine proved everyone wrong this season. So
my problem with Laine is he gives away the puck a lot, but then again, that's a winger, so that's not too harsh. A lot of the next few players are interchangeable, so if someone wanted to make the argument that Laine is closer to the 15 mark, that's fine. But
like I had Laine at 16 before I changed my list. Now he's off my list, but it just proves he could have been anywhere in that range. But
exactly. This is not like the defenseman. This one's not. Exactly, this one's not easy at all. This one
was so hard. This one was a lot harder than the defenseman list. With that, I'm going to move on to my pick at 18. I had the captain of the Colorado Avalanche, Gabriel Landeskog. He plays on that amazing top line with McKinnon and Rantanen, who we'll get to later on this list. I just feel like Landeskog, he did get hurt last season. He missed a couple games, but he's still pretty good. And he's been he's been the guy in Colorado, not recently, but he's been the guy over time. Before McKinnon really broke out and before Rantanen even got there. He's been around a while. He was the captain at a young age. And I feel like he's well-deserved of a top 20 winger spot. He led that team to the, second round 2 years in a row. So, and yeah, he's doing a good job. So I have him at 18.
Okay, I have 18. You already had him at, I want to say 20 or 19. I had Andrei Svechnikov.
Yep, that was 20.
Again, like the NHL, Instagram, any hockey-related social media made me fucking hate seeing his face.
Exactly.
Hated seeing this move happen. They did the same shit with David Ayers. Like they
milked the shit out
of it.
Don't
like,
even
just
get me
calm
started.
down.
Don't even.
Just post it for the day, maybe a few days after, but to do it like weeks after,
months. It was months.
But Svechnikov had 61 points in 68 games this year. He was only 19 years old. He's a relatively big kid. He shows he's a very we'll call him a brave soul for dropping the gloves with Ovechkin.
The OV getting fucking knocked out.
Literally knocked unconscious. That was you make mistakes as a young kid, so we'll just chalk it up as a mistake to do that. I really, really, really don't know what's making me think this. Probably just based on past production. But he's only 19 years old, putting up these numbers. He actually could be getting like 80 plus points next season,
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me if he went
like
out
maybe even
and
90.
scored 40 goals and 40 assists. Wouldn't surprise me.
That
That's just
yeah,
it's
no,
the Canes. I love that team. I really do. They have a good freaking team. If they won the cup in the next 3 years, it wouldn't surprise me. That's just the
not at
quality of
all.
team they have.
Yeah, but Sveshnikov overall, uh, just his size, his skill, I think easily puts him in the top 20. Not even a question.
Yep, I do agree with you. Not as high as number 6 though. Like freaking some teams had him, or
No,
some people had him in
those
the fan list.
you don't even acknowledge them. It's
Exactly.
ridiculous.
So with my pick at number 17, I have Johnny Gaudreau. I originally didn't have him on the list, but I went back, changed him, put him at 17. The reason I kept him off the list is because he's just, or in the first place, the reason I kept him off, he's just such a streaky goal scorer. Not goal scorer, he's just a streaky player in general.
Yep.
Like, look at like 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, he's point per game, 84 points in 80 games and 99 in 82. So he almost scored 100 points. He also scored 36 goals that year, which is well over a career high. And he even had 30 goals in 15, 16. So Gaudreau's a great player, but look at last season. 70 games played, 18 goals, 40 assists for 58 points, minus 10. That's not quality top 20 winger numbers. So I kind of went back to his prior years, went back off that, and I'm kind of banking on a bounce back year from Gaudreau and kind of that whole Calgary Flames team after a bit of a rough year. I love the pickups they made with Markstrom and Tanev, and I feel like that's gonna make Gaudreau's numbers go up.
I have Landeskog at number 17. You pretty much hit the nail on the head with most of his description there with his production and everything. But the one thing I want to bring up is for the past 2 years, he was top 40 within Selke votings, which
Yeah.
wingers,
That's
that's
hard to do.
that's relatively
We'll get to a big one later in the
yeah.
list, but
He his giveaway to takeaway ratio, he had more takeaways and giveaways this year by almost 15. He had 14 takeaways more than giveaways with 39.
okay.
Um this is like the way to put this is his production isn't as explosive as people behind him. Like Sveshnikov or Line per se. But I think just because of his defensive play that it kind of just values him that I would rather him over the previous ones.
Agreed. So with my pick at number 16, I have Blake Wheeler. Once again, part of that top line on the Winnipeg Jets with Scheifele and Kyle Connor, who we'll get to later in the list. I think Wheeler's he's a fantastic player. At times, he's played center for the Jets when like Little went down. He was able to fill in center, so it shows he's able to adapt in the position that he's thrown in. He's also the captain. He's been in Winnipeg his whole career. Not in Winnipeg his whole career, but he's been playing for that team the whole year, his whole career, because he's with the Thrashers that turned into the Jets. So he's been there basically his whole career. I just think he's a fantastic player. I don't have his point totals in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he was point per game last season. And yeah, I feel like that's good enough for him to be at number 16 on this list.
I have Matthew Tkachuk. So Tkachuk, he had 61 points, 69 games this year. The thing that makes Tkachuk so valuable for me in this situation is one, ever since he's been a Calgary Flame, he's just been unreal. He's been a huge contributor to that team's success. But he had 122 hits. He's a very physical player. He's only 22, and even when he was young, like he was 19, 20 years old, he's fucking throwing his body at these grown ass men, and he's like got no fear in him at all. Especially him with Doughty. Like
I was just gonna mention that. Yeah,
let's
his
be
feud with
realistic.
Doughty.
Kachuk kind of lives in Doughty's head, like rent free.
Oh, he does. Yeah, 100%.
Like Kachuk probably has the money to pay for rent. I just don't think he has to because it's rent free.
Doughty definitely goes to bed thinking about Matthew Tkachuk every night. Wouldn't surprise me.
Exactly.
Thinking about how to be good at hockey too.
Yeah,
He's not that.
fair enough. But I overall think Kachuk, his production can only go up at this rate, especially if Gaudreau and Monahan. You said it yourself with Gaudreau, the streaky stuff. I think once they start being consistent, I think Kachuk can easily put up some horrifyingly good numbers.
I completely agree. And that leads into my number 15 pick, which is Matthew Tkachuk. So basically, you touched on every basic point with Matthew Tkachuk, I just want to touch on one thing. Look at his line. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he wasn't playing with Monahan and Gaudreau and Lindholm. He was playing on the second line with Mikhail Backlund and I think Andrew Mangiapane, how the fuck you say his name?
Mangiapane. That's how you
Mangiapane.
know his production's good because
Exactly.
it's someone you don't
He was
even know how to say
he
his
was the
name.
leading point scorer on the Flames last season, if I'm not mistaken. And he didn't even play on the top line. He didn't play with the best players on the team. I feel like that just shows the quality player of Matthew Tkachuk. I feel like he's better than Gaudreau at this current point right now. Gaudreau could go out and have a better season and just completely bounce back and put himself probably close to the top 10. But as of right now, I think Tkachuk's the better player. And that's why he's at number 15.
15, I actually have Kyle Connor. I think Connor, he was more than point per game this year, which is obviously, being he's only 23 years old, so his production is bound to go up. The only thing is you got to think about who is he playing with when he put up said numbers. Like with Tkachuk, he put up those numbers, and his line was Backlund and Mangiapane. With Kyle Connor, do you know who's on his line specifically?
Kyle Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Wheeler and Scheifele.
There you go. So you take away those two, then what more do we have? So I think, again, he had more takeaways and giveaways, which is pretty decent as a winger. That's why he's above Kachuk, in my opinion, and also because his production was a bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
He could be higher on my list if we knew he could produce in such a way like that without those two on his line.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it's a bit too early to tell like if he's too high or too low on my list.
Okay, I can respect that. So, moving into my pick at number 14, I have Taylor Hall, Hart Trophy winner from a couple years ago. Just signed a fresh new contract in Buffalo for a 1-year deal. I think that's going to do wonders for him this year, but we're talking about more last year. So he split last season with the Devils and the Coyotes, both two teams that really aren't too great. Yeah, the Coyotes made the playoffs, but we really knew they weren't going to go far. And the Coyotes, they can't score goals. So that Taylor Hall scored 27 points in 35 games with the Coyotes isn't too bad based off really no one came anywhere close to that production in Arizona. And he played really good in New Jersey, especially his Hart Trophy year, 39 goals, 54 points for 39 goals, 54 assists for 93 points and 76 games. So, and in the playoffs, he was over point per game in 5 games with the Devils. So I feel like we're going to get back to that Taylor Hall, Hart Trophy Taylor Hall, because the year after that, he was hurt basically the whole year. He still was point per game, and then last season with the Devils and Coyotes, he just really never found his game, I feel like. So I feel like a fresh new start in Buffalo. He's going to play with Jack Eichel and probably Victor Olofsson, if I were to guess, maybe Reinhart. But he's going to have a really good supporting cast, and I feel like he could come close to his Hart Trophy numbers that he had in 2017. So that's why Hall's at 14 for me.
Yeah, I could 100% understand that. Johnny Gaudreau at number 14 for me. Some people are thinking he's way too high. Some people, probably Flame fans, are thinking he's way too low. The only reason he's low, I think he's kind of low in my opinion at 14, is because he had such a bad year. Ethan, you hit the nail on the head with this as well. Very streaky player, but the year before this one, he had 99 points with 63 assists. And he's only 26 years old, so obviously there's no age behind his reduction in production.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure what his issue is. He's always been known to do stuff like this, really. I just think give him one more year to bounce back. I think genuinely he's going to surprise people. He could honestly go back to original Johnny Hockey form.
No, yeah, that would not surprise me whatsoever. Moving into my number 13. Some people very well might disagree with me, but I have Teuvo Teravainen. So Teravainen's been really criminally underrated the past couple years. Let me pull his stats up now. I don't have them right in front of me. Teravainen. But he's Aho's line mate. He's been Aho's line mate for a couple years now, and he's put up just about the same numbers as Aho. He's on a really cheap deal as well, 5.4 for the next couple years. till 2023. And looking at it, he had 63 points in 68 games last year. Yeah, he's not point per game, but like other guys in this list, but I still think he's so underrated. He's such a good player with them. Season before that, he had 76 points in 82 games. And I really feel like nobody's talking about Teuvo Teravainen. Like he was traded from the Blackhawks to the Canes back in whatever it was, a couple years ago. I just feel like Teravainen, he's so underrated. He's such a good player. I just feel like he was worthy enough for number 13 on my list.
He's actually not even in my top 20.
Yeah,
but
I know.
your reasoning is pretty solid, and to be fair, he probably could crack my top 20 if I took another look.
I probably have him a little too high, but my point's there.
Number 13, I have Blake Wheeler. Thing with Wheeler is he had less points than Kyle Connor this year, which people are going to assume that Kyle Connor is better than Blake Wheeler. Not yet, I'll say.
Not yet.
The season before this one, he had 91 points in 82 games. Age 33, some might – 34 now for the season upcoming. Some could make the argument that it's age that's slowing him down, maybe, that his production is going to start going down.
How old is he?
I think
32?
33?
34? Oh, 34. Okay.
I think it's a bit too early to tell. I think he's in the same boat as Gaudreau. I think he just kind of had a bit of a streaky year. But again, 65 points, 71 games this season, that's not bad. That really isn't. So I'm going to go ahead and say Wheeler should be considered. He can be higher or lower based on the season he has coming up.
I do agree. So moving into my pick at number 12, we have winger. He's a winger now. Claude Giroux. He's not a center. Stop saying he's a center. He's not a center anymore. Claude Giroux, he's been playing wing for the past, I think, 2 to 3 years now. Couturier's been his center. I think we can stop the talk with Giroux being a center. He's not a center. So we'll put that to rest. Last season, he had 53 points in 69 games. Nice. But he did take a step back from his 85 and 82 and then 102 and 82 years prior. I still think he's a fantastic player. He's kind of getting a little up there in age. What is he? He's 32 now. So he's getting up there. Maybe this is the start of a slow slide progression-wise for Gaudreau. Or maybe he even bounces back and it's an even better year than he did last year and the year before that. I don't see him getting back to those 102 in point totals, though. I feel like that's out of reach. But if, like, Gaudreau's – not Giroux. Jesus Christ, I combined Gaudreau and Giroux. But Giroux's been a kind of, like, streaky in production-wise. Like, look at, like, 2011, 2012, he had 93 points. Then, like a couple seasons later, he had 67 and 78, then 58 and 82. Then he exploded for 102. So maybe he's due for another huge year, but I see it unlikely. He's still the captain of the Flyers. He's going to lead them on a deep playoff run in the coming years because I like that Flyers team, but I think he's stuck at number 12 on my list, and I don't see him getting much higher.
Number 12 on my list. I also have Claude Giroux. Yeah, I think his production has taken a bit of a hit. The one thing that we also have to look at, he took 19th in Selke votes this year with 37 takeaways.
No, he's a great defensive player.
Very good defensive player, especially for now a winger. Again, wingers being anywhere near anything in the Selke voting is kind of a big deal in my opinion, just because centers are usually the hoopla for the Selke.
Hold on. About one thing about Claude Giroux. So in his past, let me do the math real quick. 32. So in his past 28 playoff games, guess how many goals he has?
It's like a really low number, isn't it?
2.
Yeah, he's the playoff bug. Like he just doesn't produce in the playoffs.
Like he played good. Like I watched most of that Islanders Flyers series pretty close. Like Drew was one of the best players in the ice. He just really couldn't find the net and couldn't find his like sort of like production where it was in the regular season. So I feel like that does take him a bit of a hit on this list. He's still at number 12 though for both of us. So
yeah, I just think I don't think his skill should be undermined by just a one lackluster year. Like maybe if it continues this way, then yeah.
Then maybe he could end up sliding off this list. But
exactly.
As for right now, he's number 12. Number 11 for me, I have Kyle Connor. I know you think he's a little too high on this list, but I'm going to back up my point here. So Kyle Connor, he had 38 goals, 35 assists, 73 points in 71 games. You kind of made the argument that we don't really know what he really is because he played with Scheifele and Wheeler, but he had better seasons than both Scheifele, definitely Wheeler and arguably Scheifele. Wheeler, what you said he had 65 points in 70 something games, was it? Something like that?
Yeah, around I think 65
We
points.
look
Right.
at Scheifele here. Scheifele had 73 points in 71 games, just like Kyle Connor. So I feel like we can kind of put that talk a little bit to rest because I think Kyle Connor is an outstanding forward. And I think he has a lot of room to grow on that Jets team. I feel like him and Scheifele are a great duo to begin with. Eventually, when Wheeler kind of gets up there, maybe we see Line slide up onto that line and we get a Connor, Scheifele, Line line, which I think is phenomenal. I love that line. But I feel like Connor is a bit underrated. So I feel like he is worthy of just being outside the top 10 on my list.
Okay, I got Taylor Hall at number 11. A lot of people are going to think that's super high. I'm going to tell you why that's not high. And to be fair, I consider him a bit low, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm going to tell the same point that I told you before we started recording to the audience. When's the last time Taylor Hall played on a good team? The best team he's ever played on was the 2017 to 2018 New Jersey Devils.
Yep. Maybe
That's
one of those Edmonton
problem.
teams when he was first there, but then again, they didn't make the playoffs.
Exactly.
So you really can't say that.
He had 93 points with that Devils team when that team, let's face it, that team fucking sucked, okay?
No,
like
who was his line mates?
That's exactly like
Was it a
sure.
first year Nico Hischier, which like not really Nico's fault. He's still up and coming, but back then he really wasn't anything special. It's second line center at best. And who else? Kyle Palmieri, who's like as average as you can get as a player. Palmieri's a 25, 30 goal scorer year in, year out, 50, 60 points. He's decent, but like you need someone better to play with Taylor Hall. And that's the best he's ever had.
Exactly. But now he has Jack Eichel,
it's Reinhart, Olofsson, Skinner, one of those guys.
There's a lot,
and
there's
that
several
is
options.
Way better than he's ever had any line mates to play with. So I do agree with you. I think Taylor Hall could end up being even like top 8 come next year.
Yeah, Taylor Hall could return to Hart.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Hart Talks this year, just based.
I don't know about Hart Talks, just based off he plays with Jack Eichel, because Eichel's better than Hall, so Eichel would get the Hart over Hall. But I know what you mean. Yeah, like he can get back to that form though. 90 points. I just shook my camera, but like 90 points back to where he was in that year where he like exploded. So break into the top 10 now. At number 10, I have Mikko Rantanen. So I don't have his stats in front of me, but I know he was hurt last year. He didn't play that many games, probably half, maybe the high 40s, maybe if I had to guess. But he still had a decent year. And look back, I'm pretty sure he had 90-something points 2 seasons ago. We forget this. Rantanen led the league in points for like the first quarter to half of not last season, 2 seasons ago. Like that just shows, I feel like Rantanen's an outstanding hockey player, and he's most definitely top 10. Yeah, you can say he plays with McKinnon and Landeskog, but I feel like when all those players are like superb hockey players, I feel like they also deserve some sort of credit. So I think Rantanen slides in perfectly at number 10 on this list.
Okay. Number 10, I have. Oh, you're not gonna like this. I have Jonathan Huberdeau. Honestly, I think low key, if Huberdeau wasn't in Florida, I think his production probably would be a lot higher.
I don't know about even a lot higher.
I don't want to say a lot, but higher.
Okay.
So what happened with Huberdeau? The same thing happened to Barkov, where he was super underrated.
Stop with the Barkov. I hate Barkov and underrated in the same sentence.
Exactly. Everyone
pisses me off.
Everyone was like, "Oh my god, he's so underrated, so underrated." Eventually, when you keep fucking saying it, the more you acknowledge it, the more untrue it is. It's like
everybody My bad
Sentence.
to interrupt. Everyone called Barkov underrated for like 5 years.
Exactly.
After like the second year, he's not underrated anymore. Now he's overrated, if anything. But
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Huberto is more underrated than overrated. I feel like he's kind of that perfect mix. Maybe he's a little more underrated. I'd say more underrated.
He's rated.
He
If it's a
he's
mix.
he he's pretty well rated, and I feel like you have him at 10. I feel like that's not too bad. I feel like that's kind of around where he should be. I have him a little bit higher, but I can respect him at number 10.
Um, but with 78 points in 69
Mm-hmm.
games, I don't know. I just feel like because Florida can't really get that much higher in the standings.
Mm-hmm.
That like every year it's always in the same spot. I feel like maybe if you put them on a much better team, I don't even say much better team, but a team that could contribute as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty much just like the top line doing it in Florida for the most
Mm-hmm.
part. If you put him in a team that has depth and everything, I think his production could go up. And which in that case he would be higher on my list, but I still have him at number 10 though. His skill cannot be denied for number 10.
I'm gonna throw out a little something that I kind of think's true. I think Huberto is better than Barkov. Do you agree with me or no?
I'm not sure if I agree. I'm not sure if I disagree either. They
They're
both
pretty similar, but I think Huberto does get the edge because I feel like Barkov he's a little inconsistent and he's overrated. I feel like Barkov's now overrated. But moving on from that, number 9 for me, I have Mitch the Bitch Marner. Uh, plays really well with Tavares. Found some really good chemistry. He's an unreal passer. He's great hockey IQ. Uh, he's the perfect setup man for Tavares, and I feel like on that Leafs team, yeah, they've choked the past couple of years, but I think they can go on a run next season. I think Marno will be a pretty big part of that. And it wouldn't be surprised me over 82 games that he's around 95, maybe pushing 100 points. That's just the quality of player I think Marner is. So I think he's more than well deserved of number 9 on this list.
okay. Well, your argument for Mitch Marner being number 9 on your list is compelling.
Okay.
I also have Mitch Marner number 9 on my list. Uh, you're kind of right. Yeah, he had 94 points in 82 games as a 21-year-old. Obviously the pause this year kind of fucked everything up. Obviously, 59 games, he had 67 points. He probably could be pushing 100 points if you give him a good
Oh yeah.
year. If you give him the rest of his lines clicking on all cylinders or firing on all cylinders, rather. uh, yeah, there's not much more to say about him that you didn't say. He's nearly point per game in his entire career, and I think if that Leafs team finds its footing and he's only going to be getting better with age, then yeah, he's easily a top 10 player, number 9.
All right. So at number 8, I had the player that you had at number 10. I have Jonathan Huberdeau at number 8. Basically, we touched on Huberdeau a lot. There's really not much more to say. He had 90 plus points 2 seasons ago, and he was over a point per game last season. So I think he's more underrated than overrated, as I said before. I think he's better than Barkov also. But based on Huberdeau, like next season, I feel like he's going to have a pretty solid year. That Florida offense might take a hit. They lost Hoffman, they lost Dadonov. Though they didn't lose Hoffman yet, but they lost Dadonov. Who knows what's gonna happen with Hoffman? But they definitely took a hit on the offense. So his production might drop a little bit, like his power play production, but still 5-on-5. He's gonna play with Barkov. He's still a fantastic player. So I think he's more deserving of number 8 on my list.
Number 8, I have Mikko Rantanen.
We
And
basically flip flopped 8 and 10.
yeah. But let me tell you why Rantanen's 8 and not 10.
Okay.
Rantanen he was nearly a point per game. Age 23, 42 points. 42 games played, 41 points. What makes me think he's higher, he had nearly double the takeaways than he had giveaways this year. So
Okay.
realistically, on that pace, he was most likely going to be in talks for Selke, like almost Mark Stone close. Like that's I just think that offensive production with that defensive play, I think he's a bit too valuable to not uh, be any like I have him at the perfect spot in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way I could say that.
No, I don't hate it. I appreciate the argument. I can respect it.
I think if you give him a full year, he's again he could be in Selkie talks and he also could be in he could get close to I don't know if I want to say 100-point season, but he could definitely get up
No,
there.
that wouldn't surprise me. Just based off the way I thought at it is, Rantanen just plays with so many better players than Huberdeau does.
Exactly. Yeah,
Just
I could. Yeah.
the quality of players Rantanen plays with is way better than what Huberdeau plays with. That's why I ranked Huberdeau higher, but I can flip flop either way. They can go either way for me. So at number 7, I had a player we touched on a little bit earlier. I have Mark Stone. Just Mark Stone. As much as I hate this guy, I just have to respect him. He's so good defensively, and he's so good offensively at the same time. He's basically a perennial point per game, unreal defensive shutdown player. It's like there's no other player like Mark Stone in the league, and the quality of player that he is. It's just no matter how ugly he is, you have to give him credit. And I have nothing better to say about him than what I did. So I think he's well ranked at number 7 on my list, and that's where he is.
Okay. Well, Ethan finds him ugly. I also have him at number 7. Again, you hit all the points I wanted to hit, except another thing I wanted to touch on. He's a winger who came 5th in Selke votes, and the 3 years before this one, he came 2nd in Selke votes.
So he's bound to win a Selke.
That's just unreal.
Bound
You
to win a
want to,
Selke.
dude? He had 122 takeaways in 2018 to 2019.
How many giveaways did he have that year?
62.
Oh my god, he's unreal. He's so good.
That's genuinely really good. Honestly, Vegas doesn't have a captain right now, right?
No, wouldn't surprise me if he was named captain.
It should be Mark Stone. If it's not Mark Stone, overall,
I'm thinking
well-rounded player.
I'm thinking like 5 guys could be captain on that team. That what we shouldn't talk about. Oh, what's up?
I said the burger place, like 5 guys.
Yeah, I know. I realized. But we'll leave that to another video because I feel like that's something we can touch on at a later date. Just based off we don't know when next season's starting, so we got to keep all the content we can have. So yeah, he could be a potential captain for the Vegas Golden Knights. It wouldn't surprise me. Also, wouldn't surprise me with someone else. But yeah, he's more than worthy of number 7 on this list, and he's gonna win a Selke. Honestly, he could win a Hart if he has that year. Wouldn't surprise me if he'd win a Hart.
Oh, absolutely possible. 110% possible.
Yep. So at the position right outside the top 5, who they had at number 2 on their list, I have David Pastrnak at number 6. I'm going to tell you why. So we all know Pastrnak plays on a line with Marchand and Bergeron. Marchand and Bergeron, they've been great players for a pretty long time now. We've known they've been really good. So when they throw Pastrnak on that line, who I don't want to say struggled his first few years, he just wasn't the caliber of player that he is now, obviously. But seemingly as soon as they throw him on that line, he explodes. I don't want to take anything away from Pastrnak, but I feel like we kind of have to look at that as he's not as good as everyone's saying he is. Sure, he scored 40-something goals. Sure, he had I'm talking about 2 seasons ago. I'm not talking about last season. He had 90-something points, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know, man. I don't see him in the top 5. I think everyone in the top 5 is a better player than Pastrnak is. It's kind of hard. I really don't have that much to back me up here because everything points to Pastrnak being a freaking amazing player. But that's just my opinion. I don't think he's as good as some of the other guys in the top 5.
Okay. I have number 6. I have Brad Marchand, actually.
Okay.
Marchand. All right, so I'm just gonna give a spoiler alert to number 5. I'm sorry, I know the anticipation is the best part, but number 5, I have Pastrnak.
I have Marchand at 5.
Okay, so all right, so let's just discuss these two then right now because these two are so interchangeable for me.
Mhm.
When you told me that you think Pastrnak is not as good as Marchand, I get it. I personally would rather Pastrnak just because he's the goal scoring type.
Okay, and the age too, if we're looking at
and the age as well. But then again, you have to realize Pastrnak is also being helped by some of the most high quality forward line mates you can ask for, Marchand and Pastrnak. I think Marchand overall is just a really good playmaker. God, very good playmaker. His age is getting up there and he's still producing. He came 9th in Selke votes actually this year, which is very good. And Pasternak, I think overall, just his goal scoring is uncanny. But this year, in the playoffs, he didn't really look so good.
Then again, that whole Bruins team, they really weren't. It
Yeah,
kind of felt like they never really clicked in the bubble like the Lightning did, like even the Islanders did. A team like that, they really just never found their game. I feel like Rask definitely hurt them being out.
yeah,
So
yeah. And but with the 70 games played, he had nearly 50 goals with 48 goals. He was obviously on pace to have a 50-goal season at that rate.
okay.
I remember at the beginning of the season, he was pretty much unstoppable. Like if you
Oh
put
yeah,
he was playing your team within the first, like, I want to say, we'll say in the first quarter of the season, you were getting scored on.
but
Most
look at that
likely.
production compared to like the second half of that year. It slowed down. But if we look at someone
Exactly.
like Marchand, I personally don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like he was more consistent over the whole season than Pasternak was. So I feel like you got to give a little bit of credit to Marchand on that. Also, with the
Yeah.
defensive side, you said he got Selke votes. I do not think Pasternak had Selke votes. So you also have to give
No.
a little credit to Marchand for that. So just based off that, I feel like Marchand is the better player, but I can definitely see where you're coming from. Having him at number 5, though.
Yeah, literally, those two are so interchangeable. Like
Yep.
I honestly just put him at one spot in general. So
Mhm.
we'll just move on to number four
I
then.
don't. I don't agree with him being at number 2, though. That's too high.
No,
Because
that's way
yeah,
too
no,
high.
way too high. Number 4, I have the best American player of all time, Patrick Kane. Just he's been fantastic. Even though that Hawks team has been, I don't want to say abysmal, but they haven't been what they once were, especially in that early to mid to 2010s. And Kane's production really hasn't slowed down too much over that entire course of time. He had that one huge year, I forgot when he had like 120 something points. He had like that huge ass point streak. Remember that? It was like
Yeah, it was
20
2018
something.
and
Yeah, it
2019.
was like 20 something games. I feel like that point streak was 28 games or some shit. That was like, so that just shows the quality player Patrick Kane is. He got 3 cups. Like you can't say enough about Patrick Kane. He's just a fantastic player. He's the leader of the Blackhawks on the ice and even some partly off the ice. He's just unreal, and he's still in his prime. And it wouldn't surprise me if he'd go out and win a Hart Trophy next season. So that's just the quality of player he is, and he penciled in
Yeah.
pretty well at number 4.
I actually just made a last minute change. I actually put Kane at number three, but now I have him at number
Ooh,
four.
okay.
Patrick Kane, I can't say enough about him. His watching his hands every game
Oh, it's
almost is just
unreal.
fucking ridiculous. It's like, oh my god, like this dude's got the hands
Some of those
of a
shootout moves that he pulled off in his career.
oh
Oh
my
my
god,
god.
yeah. Literally, just pretty much any NHL goalie just probably went home, just fucking like, yeah, they're fucking pouting, watching TV,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, what happened there? It's like Patrick
No,
Kane
talk
scoring
about it.
Patrick Kane the shootouts, fucking stupid, fucking bullshit. Yeah, but overall, I think Kane. I'm pretty sure I heard you say this when you were explaining. He is the best American player of all time.
Yep.
If anyone wants to say otherwise, like it's cool to have opinions, especially if your opinion's wrong.
Oh
In
no,
that
hold on.
case,
We forgot about someone. Joe Pavelski. How could we forget?
uh,
How could we forget?
okay,
Number 2 of all time.
yeah, seriously though, Patrick Kane, I sincerely feel bad for him because he's on a now rebuilding Hawks team. Uh,
Mhm.
what's his contract again? He's making like 10 point what?
10.5 for the next 3 to 4 years, something like that. He's in the same
And
contract as
you know
Taves.
it's fucked up. He's
Hmm.
31, and at the end of it, he's gonna be 34, 35. I'd be shocked if he's still not like if he's not producing like he is
Oh,
now.
exactly.
Like
No,
he's still gonna be
I
putting up
saw
those
something.
numbers.
I forget where I saw it. I think it was on Twitter. It was something that like Patrick Kane can like play into his 40s and he'll still be in his prime. It was like some like projected like scoring sheet of him, which I
I
just
wouldn't
found
doubt that.
that's interesting. I feel like based off like he's just such a good player and he's been so good for so long, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's still playing into his 40s, maybe even mid to 40s, late 50s, not late 50s, late 40s. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I was about to not mean late 50s. Imagine he's freaking out there with a cane. uh, yeah. So, yeah, I feel like Kane's more than worthy of number 4 at this list. And at number 3, I have the best goal scorer of all time, Alexander Ovechkin. I feel like you can't say enough about Ovi's goal scoring ability. He's best goal scorer of all time, as I just mentioned. perennial 40 goal scorer. He's going to score 40, maybe 50, maybe 60. We'll see. It'll be no less than 40 though. So it's just Ovi's just he's unreal. Like his OV one-time spot, just seemingly no one can stop him from that spot, even though he's been hitting one-timers there for like 10 plus years. But he's not where he once was. He's taken a small steps back, but it's not really any flag of him. He's getting up there in age. He's like 35 now, I think 34, something like that. So even at that age, he's still a fantastic player, and he's still got many 40-goal seasons in him. So I feel like he's rated pretty well at number 3 on my list.
I also have a number 3, Alexander Ovechkin, greatest goal scorer in NHL history. Knocked out 12-year-old Andrei Svechnikov cold in the middle of the ice. So
I don't know if I'd compliment Ovi for that. I think I'd more take flack for Svechnikov on that one. To be fair,
he tied for first at the Rocket Richard with Pasternak. He's 34 years old. If this season was not paused, he was on track to have his second highest producing year in terms of goals. And that's also because 65 goals in his third season, that's most likely not going to be beaten by him.
Probably
so,
not.
The fact that he was at 48 goals with 68 games left to play, age 34, I don't see any way where he can't be he's like, if someone has him in outside their top 3, like
retarded, bro. Retarded. You can maybe make an argument for Kane right now. Maybe I can see it.
Yeah.
But anything outside the top 5 is unreal, and that's stupid.
I don't know how anyone could have that with Ovechkin. You just literally, like, how good do you have to be to just literally build an office in pretty much every fucking arena in the same spot, right in that left circle area?
They can't stop it.
Because guess what? If you try, like, you're going to fail. Lundqvist even said, like, I'm not fucking taking one-timer Joes on Ovechkin. I'm not. It's stupid.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him.
No, why would you want to do that?
I wouldn't even get in the way of that shit with fucking full pads on.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. No way. All right, so moving on to number 2 on my list, and I'm pretty sure your list too. I have Nikita Kucherov, Stanley Cup winner. Won the Hart a couple years ago, exploded for 120 points. I wouldn't say took a step back, but obviously wasn't going to replicate the year he had. Still had a fantastic season, fantastic playoffs. Was probably like number 3 or number 4 for the Conn Smythe. He's just unreal. He's one of the leaders of that team.
Yeah, you know what he did?
Superstar player in and out. What's up?
You want to know what I really like about him? He took the reins that Stamkos was supposed to have.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, Stamkos being hurt and
filled
everything.
The void.
Said, I do it myself. And then he just goes forward and he just fucking 128 points at age 25. Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous.
He's still so young too.
Yeah.
What is he, like 27? 26?
26.
26. Jesus.
No, he's 27 now. I'm sorry.
27. Okay.
But there's just something about him. Like, when you watch him play, like, he's just doing something amazing every game. He's just finding a way to score. He's finding a way to get someone open. He if he has the puck and he's walking in, and it's against your team, just turn the TV off, go to bed, because it's not gonna be fun. Like,
the one little thing I've noticed about Kucherov is a bit of a negative thing. Like in the playoffs, even like last year when he took that. When he took the hit against, I don't remember who it was, but he got suspended a game. Like he's done some little questionable things where he's like gotten he gets frustrated. But like I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing, but in a way it's a good thing because he really cares. Like he really cares about the Lightning. He cares about their success. That showed last season.
Yeah.
When he took the hit, he was trying to change momentum, trying to get a spark for his team. Like he really just cares. It's honestly, I wouldn't say it's a bad quality. It's not a good quality. So like it's kind of like right in the middle. It has its positives and negatives, but I feel like that's a good thing for Kucherov. And I just feel like I don't know. I like Kucherov. I think he's a fantastic player, and he's one of the best in the league right now.
I'm glad he got that cup early, just because if he ever got older, and then it's like,
exactly.
Oh, he's never going to get a cup now. Fucking.
Yep.
Someone took a video when they had the parade after they won the Stanley Cup with Kucherov, and then he said something, and then he started chugging his beer. He chugged it for about 3 seconds and then stopped. So not a very good beer chugger, but he makes up for it on the ice.
Agreed. So moving into number 1 on this list, who's not in your background for some reason, I don't know why, but
Already used
Artemi
them.
Panarin, number 1 on both of our lists. I'll let you kind of take the lead on this one.
All right, so we're looking at arguably the best player of all time, realistically. Here.
Shut the fuck up.
So Artemi Panarin, you know what he did? You know what he did that's so admirable?
What?
He comes into this New York Rangers team, and he just holds it in his hands, and he just looks at it like it's a fucking thing of Play-Doh, and he just molds it into what he wants it. He goes, you know what? We're going to the playoffs this year. However, COVID-19 happened. Because COVID-19 happened, he easily made them the hottest team. Him and Shesterkin easily made the Rangers the hottest team in hockey before the pause. Before Shesterkin broke his fucking rib in a car accident, but we're not going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Panarin signed with the Rangers for 11 point something. I'm not
11.5.
Okay, so everyone
Same
was
contract,
like,
Erik Karlsson.
They overpaid him a
No,
lot.
cap.
Oh
That's cap.
God.
Sorry. 1 year less. 7-year deal. Not 8. My bad.
Okay. But then Panarin said "fuck you" to everybody. I'm not sure what the Russian term for "fuck you" is, but he said it. 69 games played, had 95 points. He was gonna break 100, not even a question. Ethan, I know you wanted McKinnon, and I could agree with your reasoning, but the fact that he took third in Hart voting is an actual fucking travesty. The fact that he wasn't top 2 is a joke.
The fact that Draisaitl won it was a joke.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll just start with that.
Panarin, I don't even know how to explain it. Like every time he fucking played, dude, it's like he
except in the plan.
Yeah, no, we don't talk about that. But he can move the puck. You know, he's got the hand. He got silky hands. He's got a laser shot. As soon as he's open, it's a laser shot. His passing and playmaking ability is just a treat to watch every time he plays. I'm so glad he's a Ranger, dude. I really am.
No, he really is fantastic. Generational talent. Rangers really got a player when they signed Panarin. Yeah, and he's going to be a player for a long time. Maybe at the end of that deal, he might get a little, not I want to say overrated. He might just fall off a little bit just based off of age and everything. But for right now, he's still a hell of a hockey player. He's just got to show up in the playoffs of the Rangers. That's a major thing. So once he starts doing that, he'll really be a bona fide player, but he's still the best winger on this list, no question. Honestly, it was probably the easiest choice on this list, just like the defenseman list. Victor Hedman, number 1. So, yeah, that was our top 20 wingers list. If I were to guess, I'd say maybe the center one comes out next for NHL Network. I personally, I don't know. Maybe it's goalies. Maybe they already did goalies. I don't think they did, but
I don't know. I'm scared to see either way because actually, not gonna lie, NHL Network's list hasn't been horrible lately.
No,
it's just the fan list is a joke.
No, dude.
The fan list is so bad.
Oh, because hockey fans, they're really dumb sometimes. A lot of them are really dumb. No disrespect to any of you guys watching. We love you, but you don't think sometimes.
We're here to think for you here on Chuckin Muffins.
We got you. If you made it to this episode, made it to the end of this episode, we appreciate you guys a lot. We're gonna wrap this one up now. Eddie, if you want to hit us with the outro real quick.
Thank you guys so much for watching today's podcast. Make sure you catch our other podcasts in the future and in the past.
Wait, no, you got it.
I forgot what I say after that.
I don't know. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Leave a like on the video. Leave a comment even if you want to. We appreciate all interactions with you guys. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. And yeah, we'll be back next week with another podcast. Clips will be uploaded during the week. And yeah, it's been Chuckin Muffins. Peace.